Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we got a lot to talk about today, including a ton of new information about the future in Phase 2 of Season of Discovery, a massive bandwave that Blizzard just put out to get rid of more bots and exploiters, even more hunter nerfs, and community topics from you all. My name is Sky from the Comeback Kids. This is your Season of Discovery news. Sit down, grab a cup of coffee, we got a lot to discuss. Starting today's episode off with some really great news, the human rebellion against botting inside of Season of Discovery is a really hard-fought battle from Blizzard, and they have taken some serious action against exploitative accounts inside of Season of Discovery. They've actually provided a breakdown of the number of accounts that have received actions toward them in December of last year. It actually set the new record over the last 7 months with a total of 270,000 actions taken. As you can see right here, here's the number of actions taken over the second half of 2023, and they even put out an official blue post stating that they wanted to provide more transparency on the actions taken against cheating and exploitation, and here is the accounting of the number of actions taken over the last month, which was December. All of these were for cheating or exploiting, which primarily resulted in permanent bans or 6-month suspensions. Now, this also doesn't include other actions, such as those taken on accounts with character name or in-game language violations, so this is strictly the big gun ban button happening here. Then they also wrap it up with, we continue to evolve our methods and act against these malicious accounts on a daily basis. Now, we don't know for sure how accurate these numbers are, but either way, this is nothing but great news, and it's something that all of Blizzard games desperately need. We all know how bad the botting situation is inside of Season of Discovery really is, and we've talked about it in our past couple videos, so hopefully Blizzard even doubles down on this effort to really take matters even further, whether it be hiring more firepower or coming up with new technical security systems. Either way, though, big W from Blizzard. Hopefully, they keep it up. Heading into the major headline of today, it is official, ladies and gentlemen. The second phase of Season of Discovery is going live February 8th. Blizzard officially stated to get ready for Season of Discovery Phase 2, where your adventures will take you from level 25 to level 40, reward additional talent points to 31, take on the challenge of No More Gan as the raid dungeon, discover new runes and abilities, and more. Not only that, it looks like each week they're going to be looking ahead to what's in store for World of Warcraft, with sharing the latest news and keeping us in the know bite by bite, so we could see some more consistent news and updates from the developers now that all the holidays are wrapped up. With that being said, they also shared their first news and events outline for this week, with Retail World of Warcraft and Wrath the Lich King news, as well as on January 12th, there being official articles and blues news, which also hopefully means some more clarification on what's coming for Phase 2. So as of right now, ladies and gentlemen, mark your calendars. February 8th is the release date, and January 12th kind of looks like the date we're going to be getting some serious confirmations. With this announcement being officially on the forums, they also took to Twitter as well. Josh Greenfield, the head director for Classic World of Warcraft, posted this video of a human inside of Stranglethorn Vale, and after a moment, the sun turning from a bright orange to a blood-like red, with a quote from him stating, "There will be blood." This gives us some crazy hints at what they could be bringing inside of Stranglethorn Vale. I mean, if you don't remember, the 10-man raid Zol Garub is also located inside of Stranglethorn Vale also. Inside of that raid, you could also fight the Blood God Hakar. I don't want to speculate anything too crazy, but can this maybe mean that we would unlock Zol Garub for us to complete at level 40? Maybe even perhaps getting a second raid other than Nomergon? Or maybe even could we get Hakar as a world boss inside of Stranglethorn Vale? Those were the speculations I had until Agron actually went ahead and liked this post from a user stating, Blood God Hakar PvP, question mark? Which I'm not even really sure what that means, but maybe after killing enough players inside of PvP combat, it feeds blood to the Blood God Hakar, which then maybe activates another event. We're gonna have to just wait and see at this point, because I don't want to speculate too far. We also got some more teasers on what the Stranglethorn Vale PvP event could look like, with even more interesting responses from Agrand, with this user stating, is the Stranglethorn event going to be a new thing, or is it going to be a redux of the Ashenvale PvP event? Agrand actually replied to this stating, completely different from Ashenvale, which is nothing but great news, because yes, the Ashenvale PvP event was amazing, don't get me wrong, but it was a little bit too PvE oriented, because the second the event started, you actually wouldn't really be focusing on killing anyone at all. You would just be focusing on killing some difficult NPC bosses with your raid group that you would just find in the middle of the nowhere. So them focusing more on a PvP activated event is something all of us desperately wanted to see, and it seems like they're listening to all of us over here from the community. To reinforce this even more, this user stated, Stranglethorn Vale is going to be a slaughterhouse, and Agron simply replied, you truly have no idea how right you are. He also even liked a post that stated, hopefully this new event encourages more actual PvP instead of just PvE boss Zerg rushes. I don't know about you all, but I'm hoping that when the Stranglethorn's sun turns like blood red, the whole zone turns into an absolute bloodbath and it really becomes a PvP slaughter. I want it to be nothing but a bloody mess and bodies everywhere. Maybe they could do something like a zone-wide circle that would shrink, and if you're not inside of the circle, you'll be killed after a short period of time, kind of like what they do in battle royales like Call of Duty Warzone or Apex Legend with the map ring shrinking. So the only way to decide a winner for that PvP event is something like a last member standing of one of the factions. Who knows? Either way, I'm excited. Now, of course, all this is really great news when it comes to a content standpoint, but it seems like I'm not the only one that thinks Phase 2 might be a tad bit far away. With them sadly announcing that it's on February 8th, which is a month away from now, this means that Phase 1 will be a total of exactly 10 weeks long. I would have personally assumed that they would make Phase 1 a little bit shorter because of the level cap only being at level 25, and it seems like you all did too, with countless people saying things like, a month away is too long, Phase 2 needs to be released 2 or 3 weeks earlier, and generally people being shocked that nothing else is going to be released in January. I'd say on the upside, ladies and gentlemen, that they are definitely taking their time when it comes to Phase 2 to try and make sure they decipher and really figure out what the community wants before making anything official. It does suck, I know, believe me, I'm freaking salivating for any sort of news and announcements, but I guess for right now, we're going to have to just be patient, keep on leveling up those alts, voice our opinions, and wait for some more updates. So now with that out of the way, we also have a ton of other likes and responses from Agrand over on Twitter, starting with a huge elephant in the room being two-handed enhancement shamans. If you didn't already know, inside of Classic World of Warcraft, enhancement shamans didn't have dual wield. This actually led to a lot of the shaman mains coming into Season of Discovery feeling a bit left out when it comes to their classic gameplay style being stripped away. Coming from an enhancement shaman main myself, I was really hoping we were going to be keeping the two-handed enhancement dream going, and lo and behold, it looks like it could be making a comeback in Phase 2. A user asked Agrand over on Twitter if there were any updates on the two-handed enhancement runes, as they've been teasing it for quite a while. He replied with, I'm sure you'll discover more on them soon. Which makes this a huge indicator that it could be coming inside of Phase 2. Now, I personally have no idea what they're going to do from a design standpoint because we already have 2 set shaman runes for enhancement for dual wielding, with the dual wielding rune itself, as well as a lava lash rune, which can only be used if you have an offhand weapon equipped. Either way, though, once again, it looks like the developers are listening to the community and finally showing some love to shamans out there, because shamans are near the bottom of the DPS meters on both their damage specs, and they also have second to last healing as well. Hopefully this just doesn't become too complicated to implement. Following that up, another spec that's been in desperate need of some love and attention is the Holy Paladin. Not only are they worse than Restoration and Discipline Priest at healing, there's not one stitch of male healing gear inside of Black Fathom Deeps, which left Holy Paladins in particular feeling a bit left out when it comes to dungeon loot once again. A user on Twitter stated that, how much copium do I need if I really want to see some Holy Paladin gear in the next raid? My big Paladin hand simply can't hold daggers or staffs. Outside of drops for Holy Paladin, I'm loving it. Agrand even quickly responded to this, stating this was definitely a bit of a miss and we're going to carry some lessons moving forward. Low-level Pally healing gear is also in a weird space though. Some of those items you may want to see drop once, and then you just groan when they drop again. So we're trying to be sparing with it, but it went too far. Of course, I do have to agree and see where the developers are coming from on this standpoint, because firstly, if there is male healing gear being dropped in the first phase, the Horde faction literally wouldn't even be able to use it because shamans can only wear leather right now. Not only that, Paladin healing gear is incredibly spec specific, and like he said, it feels great when it drops one time, but what about all the other times after that? It would feel awful getting a bunch of healing plate gear and you can't even use it. I'm not really sure how they can solve this issue without them implementing some sort of multi-class armor token, like how they did with Encourage or Nax Ramus, you know, where multiple classes can sort of share a loot drop, like warriors, rogues, and paladins share the same loot token for shoulders, chest, and legs, or something along those lines. Either way, though, I think it's really good that they're noticing it is a problem, and it's a lesson they want to learn and improve from based off the feedback we are giving as a community. Once again, Agrand also liked another post on Twitter featuring the Rogue tank spec that is brand new to Season of Discovery. A post that stated, "Rogue tank has a lot of potential. The building blocks are there for fun, but it's 3/4 of a tank right now. They absolutely cannot hold trash threat as is, and they're one AoE ability away from being really cool. Hopefully in Phase 2. Now, could this mean that Rogue tanks could be seeing an AoE rune coming next phase? I mean, maybe it could be Fan of Knives, maybe a low cooldown Blade Flurry, or maybe even a combo point finisher that does AoE damage, like throwing a grenade on the ground or shooting something to fit that pirate theme. It seems like the developers are constantly looking at classes that don't really feel complete, or classes that seem to be underperforming, and giving us hints and teasers that they are looking to make changes and improve these specs heading into Phase 2, which is really nothing but good news. This is why it's so important, ladies and gentlemen, that I emphasize in nearly every video we make to voice your opinion in the comment section below, over on the forums, or even over on Twitter, because this classic development team is easily the most communicative Blizzard team I have ever encountered playing World of Warcraft for over 15 years. So let us hear about it in the comment section below. We got a couple final tweets to go over that Agrand liked, including this one that stated, "It would be cool if going forward, more best-in-slot items were available outside of raid drops, Void Touch stuff being a great example, and it would definitely help with avoiding the groan factor." So potentially they could be adding more longer form quest lines that could lead to bigger rewards like the Void Touch gear that we received in Phase 1. I mean, that gear not only has a big chunk of stats, but has some really nice hit percentage, as well as an on-use effect that's really powerful as well, which I think is a great idea. And then with all the drama going around about Battlegrounds and solo queue not being inside of Season of Discovery, we got some great feedback from a user stating, "Just an idea about Battlegrounds. We should have normal Battleground queuing most of the time, where pre-mades can go up against pugs. However, though, when it comes to Battleground event weekends, only that Battleground has the pre-made and solo queue during that time period." I actually think this could be a really interesting way for them to, you know, have both options available. So if you want to have your pre-mades, you can go in there and do it, but then you could also get that solo queue option, maybe meet in the middle somewhere. I think it's important that Blizzard right now takes every idea into consideration and to really reach out to the community and figure out what we all want from a majority standpoint. The only bad thing Blizzard can possibly do is to not make any changes at all. So hopefully Blizzard is paying attention to that. And speaking of some well-needed changes, it seems like we got Hunter Nerfs round 5. No, this isn't a New Year's prank, because a hotfix actually just went out the other day for Hunters, in particular that the boon of Black Fathom World Buff will no longer apply to their pets. With an official Blizzard post stating, "We are essentially removing the ability for pets to get boon for now, and pets scale with stats. Allowing them to get certain world buffs would effectively let them double dip on these effects and gain far more damage than was intended. We'll continue to review this as we move through the content phases and make adjustments to how world buffs interact with pets as needed." Now, as of right now, I'm not sure if these Hunter nerfs were really needed, because Hunter now is the only pure DPS class inside of Season of Discovery, so I feel like they should at least come close to topping the damage meters, if not just being the top in general. But as you can see from the latest logs, Warriors and Rogues are just pulling away day by day, and it's starting to get kind of ugly. I mean, good lord, it feels like all we could do is give Frost Mages and Shadow Priests nothing but a participation trophy for who's stinking it up the most. I mean, God. But I guess we'll just have to see how the community feels about some of these changes and the way classes are moving forward. Speaking of hearing from you all, our previous news video broke the record and got over 1,700 comments. I mean, it's gotten to the point where my brother Lance, the community manager for the Comeback Kids, can't even keep up with all your suggestions and input. We just want to say thank you guys so much for supporting us and influencing that algorithm, man, to push us to be the best Season of Discovery content creators out there. We really could not do it without you all. Starting off with our first community comment, we have a really interesting one from Marcus Pennington stating, "What if they introduce 40-man bosses once a month? That would be kind of neat." Now, I do think once a month is a bit of a stretch for a 40-man boss, but I really love the idea of a almost like zone-wide boss for a 40-man once a week. I mean, how awesome would it be to see some, like, ginormous version of Hakar from Zul'Gurub getting activated into Stranglethorn Vale once a week due to all the world PvP and blood being spilled. Having him almost like a world boss to drop some crazy unique loot with awesome effects attached to them, or even items that could be dropped that would start an epic quest line inside of Season of Discovery. I think this is an awesome idea that I would love to see, so shout out to you. We also have a comment from a longtime community member from Anthony stating, I think it would be really cool if they made Nomergon another 10-man raid with a similar difficulty to Black Fathom Deeps. But also, they can make Uldaman a 25-man raid that is a little more difficult with better gear. Man, I don't know about you all, but when I read that out loud, I just got super excited. I think Uldaman is a perfect dungeon that can be converted into a raid with some really epic boss battles in there. I mean, this dungeon has loads of potential when it comes to lore and a deeper quest design that could be implemented. I know it would be a little bit far-fetched, but I definitely wouldn't be opposed to them having 2 raids come out in the next phase, whether it be adding Zul'Gurub or maybe Uldaman as well. We also got Octane Rage stating, after playing World of Warcraft on and off since 2007, I honestly feel like this is the best WoW has ever been. Having more fleshed out classes in a classic setting seems to be the ticket. I mean, I couldn't agree more. Ever since I played the Classic relaunch at 2019, it always felt like Classic was the perfect time period that really brought me back to why I truly fell in love with RPGs and MMOs in general. I mean, dedication to characters, discovering a ginormous world, meeting friends, exploring, role-playing, PvP battles. It really feels like I've never been happier playing World of Warcraft, and it brings me right back to when I was like 9 years old, pretending to be sick to stay home from school to play the game all day. I could say personally with confidence that this is the most fun I've ever had playing World of Warcraft, and I'm so excited to see everything coming in the next few phases. Finally, for our last comment, we have JCSX777 stating, no matter how bad of a day I'm having, I love coming home to eat my dinner and watch your videos. It completely turns my mood around. It gets me hyped for what the future has in store. This channel is the GOAT for WoW news, and I appreciate you guys immensely. Thank you for the quality content. I just want to quickly shout out JCS here, man, and let you know, buddy, that I hope you see the message is received. I've been doing the exact same thing you're doing since I was a kid, going on YouTube and watching my favorite creators just to get out of the craziness that my life had for just a few moments. I mean, the whole goal of this channel was to do just that for members like you. I mean, to create entertaining and informative content that people enjoy and truly get value out of. I really can't express to you how grateful I am to hear and read something like that. It really gives me goosebumps to say it out loud, man. Truly, I thank all of you so much for all the love and support. It really keeps this dream alive, and I want to let you know that the comments like that are the fuel to pushing this channel and myself forward as much as I possibly can. We read all the comments. Thank you guys so much. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, once again, leave a comment below for me to respond to live here on these news videos to have a little bit of a discussion point and talk about it. I really love seeing all your opinions on some of the topics in these videos. So if you want your voice to be heard, please let me hear it in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to like and subscribe to get absolutely flooded with Season of Discovery content. I really want to thank you all so much for watching this video. It is an absolute pleasure to be making content for you all. Until the very end, my name is Sky from the Comeback Kids. I will see you all in the next one. Peace.